demonstrating the Sysmex KX21N hematology analyzer. Here it is. As you can see, I'm going to power it on. Power button is on the left near the bottom, or on the right near the bottom. Once you power the instrument on, the LCD screen will come up. It'll go into a background check. It's pretty much zeroing all of the parameters that it'll analyze out. It's cleaning the lines. It's priming them. While it's doing this, it comes that probe. Take a second to show you some of the different reagents that it utilizes.
You can open it.
Right here we have the Normalizer. This the specimen is aspirated. We'll lyse the RBCs so it can go and count and put into different populations the WBCs. There's a 3-point WBC differential that it does. In this you have a white blood cell block and a red blood cell block. The platelets are also quantitated in the RBC block. And there's different lines for some of the different reagents. There's two main reagents, or three main other than the Normalizer, that this instrument utilizes. You have a waste, which is the fatter line. Usually whenever you're priming it up, you want to make if there's bubbles in this, that's fine, or whatever. It's just a waste and it's direct plumb. You have your thinner line. This runs to your cell wash. It's your sample diluent, and it's the cube pack that's located underneath the sink. Whenever you bring your instrument up, there's certain routine maintenance that you'll do before you can analyze specimens on it. First, you'll go and power the instrument on, check the reagents, the lysis reagent and the cell pack reagent, and then right now it's doing its background. After you, right now it's doing its background. Basically, it's going and zeroing out all well, there's four main parameters that it checks in the background check: the WBC, RBC, hemoglobin, and platelet. It's pretty much zeroing those out and returning them to baseline. And then after that, when it gets done with this, those values will go and pop up on the screen. You'll need to record them under the date in your maintenance log. After it runs the background check and everything's fine, then we'll proceed to QC. This instrument will utilize 3 levels of QC. Whenever you first come in, they'll be in the refrigerator B, located on the left on the second shelf. They'll be in a little cubby like this. All 3 of them out, and whatever patient sample that you want to analyze, and you should turn them on the rocker. So let them start mixing them to a homogeneous mixture, letting them come to room temp. There's 3 levels that will run. There's going to be a patient low, normal, and high. I usually like to run the high, normal, low, so it's 1, 2, 3 on your printout whenever you're done. It's just kind of easier to go through whenever you're putting it in your Levi Jennings charts. Whenever you see all 6 of these little arrows highlighted or colored in, you'll next record your background information, and then you should be ready to start running your QC. Okay. Now your background information that you'll need to record should show up on your LCD. They should be in order as they appear on the chart. Your WBC was 0.1, RBC 0.01, hemoglobin was 0.0, your platelet was 0. And you'll record those on the chart. Alright, now we're ready to start our QC. Usually mix up the specimen. I'm going to tap it on the bottom. If there's any reagent on the lid, I'll get that off. When you go to analyze it, you'll insert it into the probe, take it to the bottom, and then come off of a little bit. Press the green button. When you hear 2 beeps, you'll back off. Normally you would run all 3 levels of QC for time. I'm just going to go through. Go to your QC log, and this is where WBC, RBC, hemoglobin, and platelets will be listed. At the bottom of the sheet, when you start a new day, you'll put the date there. This is WBC level. So this is the high, this is the 3rd level. Level is 18.7. You would go and put in a dot right here. Then you would go to the next. For the high, the RBC count is 5.38. Falls right out here. The next level, hemoglobin 17.0. It's a liner right there. And your platelet count was 496. That's another liner right there. And you would do the same thing with the other 2 levels, the normal and the high and the low. As long as it's within 2 SDs and liners count as well, your QC passed and your instrument is ready to run. I'm fast tracking, assuming that all of our QC passed, and that you would be ready to run patient samples, which you would do in the same manner that you ran your QC. You would thoroughly mix the specimen. Tap it on the bottom, make sure any specimen on the lid is off. Start the probe, go to the bottom, back off a little bit. Since we're not using a user ID or whatnot, all print-offs that you're going to utilize, you should put the date and the time will already be on it, but you need to initial it for the instrument operator. And possibly put the patient name and hospital ID on the printout as well. Okay. Next thing we would go would be go to the shutdown. To shut down this instrument, you'll just press the shutdown button. Go to the shutdown button. You'll go, this is the cell clean. It's basically a 5% bleach solution. And take that and the tube next to it on top of the instrument. And you'll go and you'll run this like a patient sample. You insert it into the probe. Press the green button. Pour it back into the container. Put it back on top of the instrument. The what?
Detection.
Oh, okay. The detection method, this is a direct current. It's a direct current method. Basically, it goes by electrical impedance to go and determine cell volume and size. These will run through an aperture and based on when the current breaks. And it analyzes that. The hematocrit. The hemoglobin is non-cyanide. The hemoglobin is done by a non-cyanide method. The hematocrit is also based on a volume. Is calculated. So, any other questions that you have about the instrument? You have the instrument log. This is a valuable resource right here. This also gives you information as far as any errors, alarm sounds that you may come into. You have 2 different options. You have a whole blood mode or a pre-diluted mode. For the parameters of this class, you'll only be doing the whole blood mode. Several different flow charts. Patient sample is EDTA whole blood. The instrument on either run will aspirate 50 microliters per specimen. well homogenized and not clotted. If you have erroneous areas with this clot, you can usually go and get 2 sticks. Check the clot and you can see this is clot. Usually you take a patient sample, 2 sticks. Kind of rim it around inside the tube. Pull it out. It separates easily. These are the Q-tip ends, it's not working. But it separates easily. Usually you'll see the visible clots on there. You'll see them on it. If it starts to looks too viscous or clotty, you obviously have a clotted sample. You need to get a recollect, or you could use sodium citrate blood on this as well. Well,
Why do we use EDTA?
because it's a it prevents the blood from clotting. EDTA is a chelator. It goes and binds free calcium and magnesium cations, which assists in the clotting process. They're essential cofactors for the clotting. So it prevents it. It binds those cofactors and doesn't allow the blood to clot naturally.
It's the best for cell morphology.
It's also the best to go and observe cell morphology. Some different reagents can go and cause the cells to crenate or lyse or whatever. I think EDTA blood is good for about 7 days if refrigerated. The older the specimen, the more degraded the cells are naturally going to be. But for all intents and purposes, this is what we use.
I was hoping it would.